Krásný dobrý den. Hello and welcome to another episode on prepositions. Today we are going to have a look at the preposition po, which might sound funny, but it's important to know how to use it, or at least know a couple of examples with this preposition, because it's one of the most frequent ones. The preposition po is mostly used with the locative case and occasionally with the accusative case. I will leave that to the very end. Now let's start with po and locative case. The use of the Czech preposition po is very wide. It refers to time, it can refer to place, it can refer to manner. We are going to start by time. It often means after, but not exactly. Let me show you what I mean. It appears in common collocations such as po splatnosti. Po splatnosti means something is overdue. Splatnost is the pay date, the deadline for paying something. So when something is po splatnosti, faktura je po splatnosti, the invoice is overdue. It means it is after the deadline of payment, it's expired, is done. Po termínu would be something similar. It is after the deadline. Not necessarily related to paying though. You could even see po záruce. Záruka is a guarantee, so something is past the guarantee. So these three expressions would mean that something is done, and so are these two expressions. Je po dešti means it stopped raining. The rain is gone. But literally, it means it's after the rain. It stopped raining. Je po dešti. Je po všem. It's finished. It's over. And literally means it is after everything. So anything that was going on, it's now over and it's after it. So remember, this would mean it is over. It's past something. These three would actually mean more like after. Po telefonátu, after the phone call. Po telefonátu byl nervózní. After the phone call, he felt nervous. Po chvíli, after a while. Or you could say po 5 minutách, after 5 minutes. Or a common collocation too, voda po holení, after shave. This means water after shaving. Remember, we need locative case and it would be followed by a noun. Or a pronoun you could add. Po tom dešti, po tom všem. Remember these two sentences. When you want to say something is over, imagine you have a party outside and it starts to rain. And you say, a je po oslavě. And now the celebration is over because there is no other place to go. And it's raining. You could even say, a máme po oslavě. We have it over. It's over for us. Poprvé, spelled as two words or one word, it's the same. But originally you can say po prvé. Prvá means the first one. Poprvé means for the first time. Poprvé, for the first time. Or as I mentioned, you can also see it written as one word. They're both correct. Poprvé, for the second time. Po druhé, the same thing. You could also write it separately. Po druhé, but we pronounce it exactly the same. Po druhé. Po prvé, po druhé, po třetí, po čtvrté, po páté, po desáté, po každé, every time. Posté, for the 100th time. This is funny because posté is rather written with two words. Posté. A very useful phrase. Až po tobě. Až po vás. After you. Po tobě would be the informal one and po vás the formal one, of course. So if somebody is walking with you and they want to go inside the restaurant, you can let them go first and say, až po vás, you go first. And you can see, literally, this means after you. And až means until after you. I won't go before you. Až po tobě, až po vás. Or už je po smrti. He or she is already deceased, dead. Literally, he or she is after death. But it's a common expression when we say they are not longer alive. On už je po smrti. Po is also commonly used with place as well. You cannot use it just with any place, but there are certain words, certain nouns that take po. For example, ulice, the street. Jdeme po ulici. we're walking in the street. Here po means something like along. Jdeme po ulici, jdeme po chodníku, we're walking on the sidewalk, a jdeme po mostě, we're walking on the bridge, along the bridge. So in these specific examples, you would go with the preposition po. You cannot say jdeme na chodníku. It doesn't sound right. So remember, jdeme po ulici, jdeme po silnici, on the road, jdeme po chodníku, jdeme po mostě, or plujeme po řece, we're sailing on the river, plujeme po moři, we're sailing on the sea. Po can also mean all over, through. Po Praze or po celé Praze, if you want to emphasize. This means around the whole Prague. Po Praze. Chodíme po Praze. We're walking through Prague, around Prague. It means you're just not passing by, you are visiting every little corner. So you are walking around. You can add po celé. Dneska jsme chodili po celé Praze. Today we walked around the whole Prague. Or po městě, around the city. And again you can say po celém městě, around the whole city. Po světě, around the world. Po celém světě, around the whole world. Po cestě, this means on the way or on the journey, during the journey. Po cestě jsme sbírali borůvky. On the way we would pick blueberries when you're walking through the forest, for example. So po cestě, along the way. Po cestě jsme si povídali. We chatted on the way. Po levé, po pravé straně. On the left side, on the right side. And again, all these are locative cases. Now, a much more interesting use is manner. When we say how we do something, we often use po. For example, po telefonu, over the phone. So careful, earlier in this video I said po telefonátu, after the phone call. But po telefonu means the means of communication, so over the phone. Or po internetu, over the internet. Po Skypeu, over Skype. Po směru hodinových ručiček. This is clockwise. Literally, in the direction of the clock's hands. Po směru. These particular three words are actually adverbs. And you can see they are spelled as one word each. Po tmě is po and tmě. It was created by po and tma. This is more like during dark. Po tmě means in the dark. Nechoď po tmě. Don't walk in the dark. Po slepu, with your eyes closed. It's describing the manner po and slepu. Slepý means blind, so in a blind way. But this only refers to somebody who has their eyes closed. Po slepu. For example, it appears in an expression našla bych to i po slepu. I would even find it in my eyes shut. When you know something very well. Potichu. Silently, in a silent way. So again, we have po and ticho in silence. Potichu. Mluvte potichu. Speak quietly. Po špičkách is tiptoeing. Tiptoeing. And this one is actually spelled as two words. It's not possible to write it as one. Po špičkách. Špička is a tip and also a tip of a foot on your tips. Po špičkách. There is a classic Czech song. Já budu chodit po špičkách. I'll be tiptoeing. Já budu chodit po špičkách. Snad dětí nevzbudí. And then there are common expression with the verb poznat, to recognize. Poznat po, or you could even say podle. Podle means according to, but it's also possible to say po. Poznat po hmatu, to recognize by touch. Poznat po hmatu, poznat podle hmatu. But actually it's more common to say po hmatu. Po čichu, by smell. Po sluchu, by ear, by hearing. Po zraku would be by sight, but it's not very common to say po zraku. This last line is related to size. In which quantity? For example, běžte po jednom. Go there one by one. Only by one. Po jednom. Or po dvou. By two. In two. Po třech. By three. po dvojicích, in pairs. And there are a few more expressions related to manner. Kousek po kousku, bit by bit, or piece by piece. Or a phrase, bude po mém. Bude po mém means it will be done my way. Udělal to po svém. He did it his way, his own way. When we have an object of the sentence and we say that somebody did it in a certain way, then we use the adjective svůj, which means their own. So I could say, udělala jsem to po svém. Udělal to po svém. Uděláme to po svém. This actually wouldn't change with the person because it depends on the pronoun and this particular verb. Whereas here we have the verb to be. Bude po mém, bude po tvém, bude po jeho. It will be in his way. Here the possessive pronoun does change according to the subject. And one little note, if you speak another Slavic language, you might be tempted to say, for example, mluvím po česky, but we don't say that. We don't use po here. Only mluvím česky or rozumím česky. There is no po in this way. Mluvím česky, rozumím česky. The last part when we speak about po and the locative case is dedicated to verbs. The first line shows a couple of verbs related to motion or direction. For example, jít po, as we said, to walk on something. Jít po mostě, jet po mostě, kráčet po, to march or to walk, kráčet po městě, procházet se po parku, to walk around the park. Toužit po. This means to desire when you are dying to see someone or something. It's quite a strong verb. So when you say toužím po čokoládě, you really desire chocolate. Stýskat se po, and again locative, is to miss something or someone. You also have to add dative here. Stýská se mi po přírodě. I miss nature, countryside. Stýská se mi po tobě. I miss you. Opakovat po. This is when I say repeat after me. Opakuj po mně. Opakujte po mně. So this would be followed by a person who you repeat it after. Děti opakují všechno po rodičích. Children always repeat everything after their parents. It doesn't only mean repeat verbally, but also to copy. Ptát se po někom. To ask around. Všude jsem se po tobě ptala. I asked everywhere for you. Být po and then the person means to take after. When you talk about resemblance or character. Já jsem po mamince. I take after my mom. On je po tatínkovi. He takes after his dad. Po kom seš? Who do you take after? Sahat po. This means two things. To reach for something. Sahám po skleničce. I'm reaching for my glass. Or when you speak about something that was reaching up to a certain point. But actually, when we say that something is reaching up to a certain level, that would be the accusative case, so careful. Voda mi sahá po bradu, brada, po bradu. The water is reaching my chin. That would be the accusative. Sahám po skleničce, I'm reaching for the glass, that's locative. Rozhlédnout se po, to look around. Rozhlédnout se po pokoji, to look around the room. And then when we speak about senses, what something tastes like or smells like. Chutnat po, to taste like. Chutná po čokoládě. Tastes like chocolate. The taste is after chocolate. Voní po růžích. It smells like roses. Or je cítit po růžích. Vonět a je cítit is actually the same. And the last part of this video is dedicated to the preposition po, followed by the accusative case, which is not that common, but it can happen too. For example, when we speak about time. Po celý rok, throughout the whole year. For the whole year. Po celou noc. For the whole night, or po celý den, for the whole day. And you can clearly see that we have accusative after, or you can actually see it here. Po celou noc. Or when we speak about measure or reach, we already spoke about this. Voda sahala po bradu. The water was reaching the chin. Or po kolena, up to the knees. Or when you say that something is from one point to another, again, you're speaking about range. Somebody is showing you their properties, their land. Až po tu louku je to moje. It's mine all the way to that meadow. And again, we have the accusative case. I also wanted to mention this expression that we say on the New Year's. Jak na nový rok, tak po celý rok. As you do on the New Year's Day, it will be like this throughout the whole year. It's supposed to encourage you to do healthy habits on the New Year's Day and keep them for the rest of the year. Opakujte po mně. Repeat after me. Jak na nový rok, tak po celý rok. A dámy a pánové, to je ode mě všechno. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all from me. I hope that you will warm up to the preposition po. It's one of those mysterious ones, but again, if you learn a couple of expressions that you like, you can start using it, and then you will start noticing that it's actually pretty common. Mějte se krásně. Ahoj!